Okay, guys, thanks so much for joining today. Today we're going to be talking about going after sellers and how to get more listings for sale. And we're going to talk about a couple different ways. But before we do that, again, these are things I think you should write down right now. So if you don't have a piece of paper, grab one. If you need one, or type it out on your computer, or whatever it is. Right. So, the first question is, why are you here today? Right. What are you hoping to learn? The second one is, how long are you going to devote? Oops, sorry. Oh, what are your listing goals for this month, right? How many new listings do you want to walk away with at the end of May, right? The third one is, how long are you going to devote to going after listings every week? And what are those times, right? You need to write it down. You need to put it into your calendar for this to work. And again, we'll go over what it looks like. The next question is, who is your accountability partner, right? Who are you going to make sure you're doing that, right? If you say, I'm going to spend, from 12 to 2 every Wednesday going after listings, who's going to talk to you on Wednesday at 2 o'clock to make sure that you did that, right? You guys all need an accountability partner. If you don't have one, there's people in this room, you should find one, right? You have to keep each other honest, right? Did you do what you said you were going to do? If not, why? And if you keep not doing what you say you're going to do, you should leave this business because you're never going to accomplish anything, right? And I'm being very harsh, but it's true, right? If you set goals and you just constantly don't make them, how do you expect to actually make money in this business? And the last question is, who will you take on a listing appointment if you get the opportunity, right? Because again, many of you in this room are new, and it's extremely important to make sure there is someone that you know that will go with you and that you can learn from if you get the opportunity to go after a listing. So I'm going to pause the recording for a minute so we can kind of take a minute and go over this. Okay, so we're going to continue.
I have to, dinner.
Flowers and stuff. So there are opportunities everywhere. And the way I like to kind of start and to think about this, and it's kind of the same way that whenever we do any cold calls, we want to start with the easiest one for us, right? We want to start with the ones that are like low-hanging fruit, because it's much easier to continue to do any prospecting activity after you've had a warmer reception, right? It's warming up for the hardest things and the ones that we don't want to do, but we have to do things, right? And so there are kind of 4 areas that I think are the easiest, and again, this kind of builds as to finding opportunities to get listings, right? To go after listings. So the first, to me, is the easiest, a for sale by owner, right? When someone has their property on the market, they're trying to do it on their own, and we can attempt to build a relationship with that person. The second is expired listings, right? And again, if we see for sale by owner listings are on the market, they just don't have a broker associated with them. Expired listings were on the market and they're currently not on the market, right? So again, you can see something is on the market, something was recently on the market. Now we're going to number 3, neighbors of in-contract homes, right? Things that have recently gone into contract or are pending sale. And then again, that's kind of warm because it's like, okay, my next door neighbor's house is for sale or in contract. That's great. Now maybe I want to sell my house because they got a great price. And the last one is neighborhood farming, right? This is just blind prospecting, right? This is cold prospecting, if you want to call it, right? The first for sale by owner is the warmest, then expired listings, then in contract homes, then kind of general neighborhood farming, right? And each of these represents an opportunity. And each of these, we're going to go through kind of a little bit more kind of for sale by owner, and expireds have kind of, I'd say, the most in-depth nature to them, but the relationship building is at the heart of all of these different ways to kind of go after listings. And again, you can do the same thing with rentals, right? You can do for rent by owners. Expired rentals don't really exist because usually something's rented. Again, neighbors of homes that you've recently rented, and then general neighborhood rental farming, right? This applies to both rentals and sales. Again,
Does expired also means that it could be just removed from the market?
It could be removed from the market, but for rentals, usually it's rented or it's not, right? There's no, it didn't sell. If it doesn't rent, usually that's either if someone's trying to rent it themselves and they didn't get a renter for it, then it was probably overpriced, right? Or usually rentals will go. It's more so that listings won't sell. Okay, so one of the best things when you're talking about sales is our listing presentation. Again, I'm not going to go into the full details of the listing presentation, but just to remind you, we have a customizable listing presentation that you can take with you to any listing appointment you go on. We'll put it together with your bio, the experienced agent that you're going with bio, and kind of help you to get the listing through our Weichert selling source. If you don't know the listing presentation, you can review it. There's YouTube channels. It's on the Google Drive and stuff like that. And again, we will customize it for you before you go out on any listing presentation. Okay, so for sale by owners, right? To me, the most important thing is that it's all about building a relationship, right? Most brokers will see a for sale by owner. They go in there and they like, I want your exclusive listing. Here's what I'm going to do to sell it, right? If someone has listed an apartment by themselves, what does that tell you?
That they either don't trust brokers or they just prefer to do it themselves.
Perfect. That's great. Either they don't want to work with a broker because they don't trust them, or they think they can do it better themselves. Those are really the two answers, right? Maybe there's something else like, oh, I want to save money, I want to do whatever. Totally. That's another one. And so if you go in there as a broker saying, I want to sell this for you, they're going to have a defense up, right? Because they don't want to use a broker, and you're that thing that they don't want, right? You're just introducing yourself as that thing that you don't want. So you don't want to go after the listing, right? You want to start to build a relationship with them, right? This is all about building trust and confidence, right? In you, in what you can do for them, in what services that you provide. And there's a few things, right? Most for sale by owners, and I think it's 80% right now, list with a firm down the road, right? That could be in a week, in a month, in a year, who knows? But 80% of them do not sell on their own, and they will list with a real estate broker. Most for sale by owners, and again, on average across the country, sell for 13% less than homes listed with a broker, right? So even if we're saying we're charging 6% to them for selling their home,
Instead of making more money.
they are still making more money. And again, this is a national average, but it goes to show that using an agent and a broker who's knowledgeable, who knows the market, and who can best market their property is going to net them more money in the end. And the other thing, which again, for all of you, because we all have memory like a fish, right? We do one thing and then we forget, we never do it again, right?
Right.
It takes 8 to 10 contacts on average to get a positive response, right? That means that you have to talk to the same person 8 to 10 times to get a response that could lead you to getting the listing or could lead to building a relationship, right? This business is a numbers game, right? Again, people who work in rentals right now, you usually have to take out between 10 and 20 people to get one thing rented, right? And that's what's your exclusive. And that's why, again, we have a lot more success when we have the listing. That's why you should be going after listing. Same thing with a buyer, right? You might take out 5 to 10 buyer leads before you get one to close. Again, usually if you have the listing, it's going to sell. It's just a matter of price and time. Dewey can vouch for that because he's had a listing for a very long time, but they're still working at it. So, okay. So the first question that I always get from people when we're talking about this is, where's the list of all the for sale by owners out there, right? Well, if it were that easy, everyone would be doing it and these owners would be getting millions of calls a day, right? So you need to find them. That's part of our jobs, right? We're detectives. We need to find these things on our own. If you don't want to find them, there are sources where you can pay $50 a month, $100 a month, whatever it is, to try to find and to get a list in your inbox of people's names, addresses, and phone numbers, right? So again, that's a solution for you. If you want to put money towards that, you can definitely do that. You want to do that, send me an email. I'll send you the list. You can sign up for it. But you can find them on StreetEasy, Zillow, and Trulia. There's a website, FSBO, forsalebyowner.com. New York Times has them. Classified sections have them. You will see signs in windows. You'll see different for sale by owner syndication platforms, right? There's not going to be like a million people trying to sell on their own, right? Usually within a given neighborhood, maybe there's 1 or 2 at a time, right? It's not like there's a ton. So you need to, again, you might have to go outside your comfort zone for areas in order to find these. So let's see if I think I might have. Okay, so one, the questions that you're going to get off the get-go, and this kind of relates to the question that we had about why people don't want to use a broker, right? You will get the question when you're approaching for sale by owners, how can you sell my house better than I do, right? They're going to think, I know my house inside and out. I know my apartment better than you do. I'm going to do a better job marketing. Well, that's not the case, and here's why, right? Number one, we will market the property with more exposure to all buyers. Most people who have a for sale by owner will put it on one, maybe two websites, and that's it, right? We are syndicating to over 400 websites, not only here in New York, but across our MLSs that are all across the country and the world. We can advertise on broker-only websites like OLR, Realtor.com. We have professional marketing materials, and we'll get to this in a minute, but most of the time, someone for sale by owner, maybe their cousin took photos of their property and it looks awful, right? Sometimes they're good. I'm not saying that's always the case, but a lot of the times they do not have very good marketing material. We can also pre-qualify anyone who steps into their apartment, right? We have Dove, we have Weichert Financial, so that they're not going blindly to try to get someone past the co-op board, maybe, right? And that's the next one. We have a knowledge of the co-op condo process and boards, what they're looking for, what they need. We can also negotiate terms and conditions without emotion, right? Someone who's lived in the same home for 30 years, they probably think their place is a palace, even though it's a dump, right? Or maybe they just think, oh my God, my views are amazing. And you're like, they're not that great, right? You can compare for sale by owners oftentimes to other properties that are listed in their building or in their on their street. And usually the prices are much higher, right? Because they think it's like the best property ever. Well, that might be the case, but we can negotiate terms and conditions without these emotions, right? So it's important to remember, and we've used this example before. If a buyer and a seller talk to each other, there's usually friction, right? Because one person wants the best price, one person wants the lowest price. We help buffer that negotiation, right? And I can't tell you how many deals would have blown up had the personality on the sales side met the personality on the buy side, just because people are so different, right? We're there as a buffer, we're there to broker those terms, those conditions, without the emotions that a lot of people have, both as a buyer and a seller. Okay, so you need to build a relationship, right? For sale by owners are not just going to be like, oh, here are the keys, sell my property for me, right? They're already trying to do it on their own. So go and see the apartment, right? That's really your first step. Either bring a client if you have one, right? Do not ever pretend that one of you is the client, right? Do not lie. No relationship ends well that's based on a lie, right? If you have a client, bring them. If you don't have a client for that property, ask if you can preview or ask if they can send you a video tour, right? You'd love to see it. What are the things you can say? I always like to know if everything for sale in the neighborhood, right? What does that do? That starts to prove that you're a neighborhood specialist for that area. If they don't want to show you, right? What you can ask for is are you doing any other showings this week? I will come right at the end and pop in for 5 minutes, right? We call it piggyback. So you're not disturbing them. They're not making a trip out there. Let's say they're coming in from New Jersey to sell their property, right? You're not making them make another trip out there. And you can see it at that time. And again, worst case, go to an open house if they have scheduled, right? Most of them will have open houses, maybe not, who knows? If they're not, again, that's something we can talk about when we're kind of trying to build a relationship with them. So again, what we're going to do is we're going to work on building the relationship in person, right? That's the best way to do it. Talk to them about the property, right? How did you price it? How long has it been on the market? How long are you planning on keeping it as a for sale by owner? Offer them items of value that we can give them at no cost to them, right? One of the greatest things about Weichert is that we have access to professional show sheets in the My Weichert marketing studio that you can create with photos that they have or that you have, and you can give these to them for free, right? You can print them out here in the office. And right, they're going to say to you, why do you want to make show sheets for me, right? And if they don't have them, right? If you walk in and they just have a piece of paper with like the price on it, right? Say, you know what? I'd love to create show sheets for you because I want to help you sell this property on your own. And they're gonna say, why do you wanna do that? And you say, A, if someone walks in this door and doesn't have a broker and they see my nice show sheet, maybe they'll wanna work with me as a buyer's agent on a different property, right? So it's a way for me to maybe get some additional buyers. Number two, if I do help you sell it, I would only hope that you would refer me to your friends and family. Period, right? So something you can do for free can get your name out there, right? You're marketing yourself and might get you some buyers down the road. Is this not worth doing? The other thing we can give them is the affordability sheet from Doug, right? Doug can do the MyWhiteCart financial sheet. And again, the same thing. All you're asking for is, hey, if someone needs to get pre-approved, just send them Doug's way, right? These are 2 free things that we can provide to them. Now, oftentimes people have really bad photos, right? And again, if you look at for sale owners in whatever neighborhood, they'll probably have bad photos. So what I have done, and I've done this a couple times in the past, is I have offered to have photos and floor plans done for them, right? And yes, it's going to cost you a couple $100, but that's an investment. Something you can write off. A, it's photos that you have to use down the line. B, you're proving to them that you are trying to help them sell it on their own, right? With those photos, you can then make the show sheets, you can make everything like that, right? And how do you think they're going to react in a month, in a week, in however many days it is, when they're like, you know what, maybe I should use a broker? Who do you think they're going to use? Most likely they're going to use you, right? Most likely they're going to use you. And I can tell you, 90% of brokers do not do this. They don't even offer, 99%, I would say, don't even offer this, right? Again, you can get one of the cheaper photographers, you can use Heidi, you can use kind of whoever you want. So the other thing you can do is, again, you can offer to host open houses for them, right? Hey, I know you said you go to the Hamptons every weekend during the summer. If you're going to be keeping the property on the market, I'm happy to cover open houses for you. And they're gonna be like, why do you want to do that? And what do you say? Again, I can potentially get some buyer customers from hosting the open house for you. Obviously, if they want to buy your house, you don't owe anything to me, right? Not a problem. You can also offer to create squeeze and landing pages for them, right? You can use the MyWhiteCart tools and apps that we have for free as agents to market their property for them. Or again, you can put $60 into a property boost. All you need is their permission to advertise it. You can blast it out to whatever zip codes they have, right? Think of all the things that you can do for free from WhiteCart that they, as a seller, cannot do on their own, right? And offer them all those things. Maybe not all at once, but just start building the relationship, right? Maybe you start with show sheets and the affordability sheets. Then you offer the photos and you offer, and again, it's all about building the relationship. And every time that you're offering them something, you are helping to build that relationship with them, right? Every time you talk to them, it's another one of those 8 to 10 touches, right? You're getting in there, you're building it. They like you. Oh, Manolo, how's it going? Like, hey, you check in with them every week, right? And you do these things. As you continue, right? And again, for some people, this is a month in. For some people, this is like a week or 2 after they've actually built the relationship, right? You can say, hey, I would love to help you by taking over the advertising for you, right? A lot of times, people that have a for sale by owner will, in the description, actually say, paying 2.5%, paying 3% to buyer's agent, right? And if that's the case, that's great, because if you bring the buyer, you can collect the fee, right? All brokers have the same deal. Well, what we can get some of them to do is allows them to have, if we take over the advertising, we can sign what's called an exclusive agency, right? Where we're the only agency that can advertise it, but they can still advertise it on their own. And it allows you to make phone calls on the property, to market the property, to put it on all the websites, Treaties, Zillow, Trulia, all those different things, right? Again, if you get to that point, just let me know. We'll go over the agreement and stuff like that. And we'll make something that works for them, right? Again, what do? Let's say they're offering 3% to the buyer's agent. We can always post it so that we get 1.5% and the buyer's agent gets 1.5%, right? So we're posting it as the seller's agent. There are ways that we can kind of finesse and get around this. So again, you can also ask for a limited exclusive, right? If they say, hey, I don't want to give this away. What if you give me 2 weeks, right? I'm asking for, you were offering 3%. I'm asking for 5%, right? So I can put it out there to the broker community for 2 weeks, right? That allows me to do some open houses, allows you to do whatever, right? To blanket market the property. You're more likely to send postcards, to do all these things that you're going to really have to pay for out of pocket if you have a limited exclusive. And again, if you do well, if you show that you're showing them, if you're doing stuff, they're more likely to let you sell the property or to give you the exclusive, right? So really, it's not until, I've never actually asked in this whole process for a full-on exclusive. Oftentimes, they will offer you the exclusive without you even asking, right? By building this relationship. Again, some owners will never list with the broker. Who cares, right? If we can help them sell it, or if we can get more buyers from giving them flyers, or if we can, do anything to help them get through the process so they refer us people, it's a win, right? Most people go into a for sale by owner and just want the exclusive. I don't want the exclusive, right? I want to help you sell your property on your own. I want to build a relationship with you, and down the line, hopefully I sell it for you. But I had never asked in this whole process for the actual exclusive. Right? That's how we're different. That's how this is to me what actually works with for sale by owner. So again, kind of the quick cheat sheet is go and offer to help but sell on their own, see the apartment, ask key questions, give them information, offer to take photos, portability sheets, show sheets, offer help with marketing, offer to put it on broker only websites, offer to host open houses, offer to take over the online marketing, right? So these are all touches, these are all ways that you can kind of build that relationship with them. Any questions about this? Okay, so we're going to talk about expired listings now, right? This is the next level, right? For sale by owners on the market, they're the hot leads, let's say, right? Expired listings are warm leads, right? They are recently listed and they didn't sell. So again, an expired listing is a listing that has exceeded its listing period and it's up for grabs. OLR uses two different terms. One is TOM, temporarily off market, and you should really wait on those as they're supposed to come back on the market at some point. And POM means permanently off the market, right? That means that the broker's exclusive period has ended and they're kind of up for grabs, right? As there was not a magic list of every for sale by owner in New York out there, there's also not a magic list of expired listing. But there are expired listing services you can sign up for where they will email you every day, every week, every month, the new list, and for them it's usually every day, of things that have expired off different MLS. Again, if you want to pay for that, great, easier way to do it. If not, you just kind of do the legwork yourself. So this is a little sketchy, but in OLR, in sales search, right? So again, in any OLR sales search, what you want to do is you pick your neighborhood, you pick your price range, and then here it's going to say target, right? And you want to make that as many days as possible. So 360 at the bottom. And here under status, you're going to check off market, right? You don't want to do TOM or POM or whatever. Just check off market. It will give you a list of everything, right? And then you can wade through those. So again, what you want to do is on OLR, select the neighborhoods you're looking at. And again, I do one at a time. Put in a price range, again, $1 to $10 million, $100 million, whatever it is. Put the you change the days to 360 and then check on off market, right? They'll give you things that have expired over the last year. So again, what is that going to give us? That's going to give us a list of properties that have come off the market in the last year, right? So that doesn't give us a list of the names of the owners, right? It doesn't give us a list of that. So what we have to do is, again, cross-reference, do some detective work, right? You can use Cole Realty, StreetEasy, Property Shark, whatever it is, to find out contact information for each owner and reach out, right? If you can't get an appointment to go see it by calling, then talk to them, right? And once you get in touch with them, you want to build rapport with them and let them vent about their last broker, right? They are going to be pissed because they gave Joe Smith from XYZ Realty a 6-month exclusive. The guy was like, this is going to sell in 2 minutes. And after 6 months, it hasn't sold, right? So they're going to be really pissed. And so what you need to do is let them vent, set expectations about how we're different, and then offer a short exclusive to start, right? Follow our for sale by owner guidelines of building the relationship, seeing the property, seeing what you can do, right? And again, it takes multiple times and connections to get the listing. Another approach to it is, again, only if you actually have someone who is looking in that area and price range bring them, right? You could say, I actually have Sally who started looking after this expired, right? Do not bring another broker, do not bring a family member, right? No relationship is built off of a lack of trust that endures, right? So again, what you want to do is really figure out, and again, they will tell you, right? So they're going to be upset. What went wrong with the last broker, right? And what you want to do is offer customized solutions, right? Was it the marketing? Again, they could say to you, oh, they never marketed my property. They said it was going to be online, but I never saw it in the Facebook ad. How would you react to that, right? What would you say? Wow, we actually have My Wiper, which is an amazing marketing studio. I can actually get this listing out to 5,000 people in your zip code, right? In 5 minutes, right? I can get it out to everyone who's got a registered email in your zip code. I can also blast market it through our design studio to 5 buildings in the area that are rental buildings where people could actually save money by moving into your property, right? Was it reach, right? Oh, they said they were like really good in Brooklyn, but they actually, then I found out their only office was here and they're not part of the MLS. How do you solve for that? Well, hey, Weichert is actually, a powerhouse here in the Northeast, but we're also one of the largest national brands. That your listing will appear on 400 different MLSs. It will be blasted out to, our agents here in New York. We have about 90 agents here in New York. We also have a ton of agents in Rockland County, in Westchester County, right? People in New Jersey are going to see this, right? What's the price, right? What is Weichert's solution to price? Well, we use Urban Digs to help price things, and we also use our price trend analysis to actually get things in there. Was it the agent, right? Well, Sally said he was going to be doing everything, but his assistant came all the time. Well, again, you can tell them that you will be there at all showings and you got a great team, yada, yada. Was it open house, right? Well, we have an ultimate open house. We're going to do open houses longer and more often than everyone else is. So that's expired, right? Again, very similar to for sale by owner, except you guys do a little bit more like, right? Yeah. So the next one is neighborhood farming, right? In contract listing. So this is an amazing opportunity, right? To allow people to know that we have recently gone into contract in a listing in their neighborhood and to see if they have any interest in selling, right? So this is best done within a few days of something going into contract. And so again, especially let's say, Kathy's been doing this with one of Joubert's listings, right? Kathy and Joubert work together. One of his properties is going into contract. And now she's calling all the neighbors to tell her, hey, we got a signed contract within 2 weeks of going on, right? At a great price. Can't disclose the price, but you can say at a great price. Do you have any interest in selling, right? This is not you soliciting anything except for the fact that we wanted to let you know your neighbor went into contract. Do you have any interest in selling, right? So again, you can use Cole Realty to pull everyone in the neighborhood. You can also send an email to the entire zip code through My Wiper, right? Your neighbor, I'm excited to let you know that we're currently in contract at 27 Union Square West, 5B. And either you say, I brought the buyer, right? And again, this is a great way. If you're working with a buyer, they go into contract on something, boom, you can send this to everyone who lives in the neighborhood. Or we were quickly able to go into contract, right? Again, you can do this for any of my listings. You guys can totally do this for. You can ask other agents, you can do it for them, right? Let's say you're helping someone with open houses and they go into contract, you can say, hey, I'd love to blast the neighborhood. Is that okay with you? 9 times out of 10, they're going to say yes, and you can do it, right? I'm just reaching out to let you know the great news and see if you had thought about taking advantage of the market and listing your home, right? Very easy question, right? And again, maybe you'll get a ton of no's, but maybe you get 1 or 2 yeses, and that's when you can then go on the listing presentation, bring someone with you, and get the listing. It's all about creating opportunities for yourself, right? You need to be in front of more people, more buyers, more sellers, more landlords, more tenants, whatever it is. Again, the last one is kind of the coldest, as I would say. And that's the neighborhood farming, just general blast email, right? So again, if there's nothing that went into, this one's a little warmer because we're saying, okay, something went into contract in the neighborhood, we're calling them, we're texting them, we're emailing them. On this one, on the market updates, we're really just telling them, hey, here's what's going on in your market, right? Kind of like we talked about during the market updates kind of farming series that we did. What you want to do is you want to start a campaign in your target neighborhood or neighborhoods. introduce yourself and your services and say, now's a great time to sell because, right? And that because is gonna be based on market trends, analysis, yada, yada. But ask them, right? Have you thought about selling your property? Send market updates. Again, you want to keep up the contact. It's not like they're just going to respond, hey, Manolo, here are the keys to my apartment. Let's sell it right now, right? It's going to take time. It's going to take connecting with them. It's going to take, engagement. Check out my website to see what's currently active on the market, right? And again, the first email is introducing yourself and your services, seeing if they want to sell. Then you send the market updates from Urban Digs, from OR, from LIBOR, tell them about recent contract activity. Hopefully by then you have a buyer looking, what's just listed, what's for sale, what's going on, has the price per square foot gone up, kind of whatever it is. And that's it, right? So these are 4 extremely accessible ways that you can start building the listings you're going after. And the best thing about this is all of these are free, right? You don't have to pay anything for this. It just takes time. And that's why it was important for you guys to write down the time that you're going to be devoting to this, because it is going to take time. It takes repetitive action over and over and over again, right? I'm not a big sports person, but Messi, right? Messi did not become good overnight. Yes, he was born with talent, but he practiced. It took him his whole career. He finally won his World Cup. So, you have to keep at it and keep going. And again, it's going to get easier and easier and easier. The more people you talk to, the more people that you connect with. And use all the tools that you have. And again, you just got to spend time doing it and you're going to get listings very quickly. So thank you guys very much. I'm going to stop the video. Thank you.